Yes, it pays to have good credit.
You would always want to be on the side of having good credit.
Do you think it pays to have good credit? Welcome to the It Pays to Have Good Credit podcast, where we talk about credit scores, business, finances, and take calls to answer all questions related to those topics. To call in, call 225-243-9700 and press option 1 to join in. All right, let's talk about a big and a huge misunderstanding in the credit industry. Many consumers out there believe if something is closed on their credit report as an unpaid balance, which means it's in collection status or it's in charge-off status, many people believe they do not owe this money back. So let's just start from the basics here. When you apply for financing and you borrow money from the bank, you sign a contract agreeing to pay back this money borrowed at these terms. Now, what happens is if you do not, pay back this debt, the bank will close the account. They're no longer attempting to, collect this money monthly. However, legally, you still owe that money. So what happens is many times banks may hire a collection company to blow up your phone, send you letters in the mail, call you every single day and night to try and collect this money on their behalf. And the collection company makes a commission if they're able to collect this debt, or the bank may hire a law firm to legally sue you for this unpaid debt. Happens all the time. So a lot of people misunderstand the whole thing about paying something that is closed because 9 times out of 10, that's not going to fix something on your credit report. So let me restate that. If something is in collection status or charge-off status and you go to pay it, the only thing that's going to happen to your credit is the balance is going to update from however much that you owe to 0. And no, that's not going to update your credit report at all. It's not going to increase your credit scores by a point. So many people are like, well, if it's not going to fix my credit, then I'm not going to pay it. So, I don't owe this money. So a lot of people just misunderstand how this works. And it's always two answers to this. And a lot of times it all comes down to understanding that debt and credit is two completely different things. Yes, they go hand in hand, but they're not even related. So what I mean by that, let's say you go to a small town credit union and you get a pre-qualification to finance a car. Many times these small credit unions may only report to one credit bureau. Let's say they only report to Equifax, but they don't report to Experian or TransUnion. So when you go and finance a new car, you go and buy it, just because it's not reporting to Experian or TransUnion, do this mean that you no longer owe the debt that you borrowed for this car? No, you still have to pay back the credit union. Let's go even further. If I were to finance a new home today for $1 million and the bank do report to all 3 credit bureaus, now 2 or 3 months later, as I'm making my mortgage payments, I decide to use my right as a consumer and just challenge or dispute this mortgage loan. Let's say I don't agree that the item is verified, or I don't agree that the information is reported correctly. Then if the credit bureaus accept this dispute, and let's say if the mortgage company just simply did not respond within a 30-day period, legally the credit bureaus must delete that mortgage account from my credit report. Now, again, let's say this is only a 3-month-old account. They didn't respond. The credit bureaus deleted it. Do this mean I got a free $1 million house and I don't have to make another mortgage payment? No, that does not mean that. So the answer is yes. If something is in collection or it is charged off on your credit, yes, you owe this money because you signed a legal contract agreeing to repay this money. Now, if something is in collection and is charged off from your credit, the chances are, if you are being sued for this unpaid debt, chances are this is like thousands of dollars. It may not even happen if it's like a $200 credit card or a $300 credit card. Usually the bank just write those off. You may get a 1099-C in the mail later that year, which is a cancellation of debt because they forgive you for this debt. They just written it off, and now you pay taxes on this unpaid debt because now the IRS counts debt forgiven as income. So let's say you have a $5,000 personal loan, it got charged off, the bank written it off, the account is closed. Then at the end of the year, the IRS wants you to pay taxes on that $5,000 because they count that as a $5,000 income gain. So I mean, that's worst case scenario if nothing happens. But usually for small things like that, you don't have to worry about being sued and getting your wages garnished. Normally that's for like big loan accounts, $10,000, $20,000, or $30,000 credit cards and things like that. Yeah, if you don't unpay those, you are for sure getting sued for any type of unpaid debt. But for your average consumer accounts and normal things like that, I mean, nothing may not even happen. Not saying that it won't, but the chances are slim. You know, normally if it's not something big, you don't have to worry about it. If something is charged off or or in collection on your credit report, then I would recommend trying to work up some type of settlement plan with the collection agency or the original creditor. Let's say if you owe $1,000, 9 times out of 10, usually most of these accounts that has been charged off or closed out is towards the end of that account anyway. You know, you may have a few payments left. Therefore, this original $1,000 that you had to pay back, you probably have already paid that plus more in interest already. So a lot of times the bank may try and settle with you, or let's say you only pay half of the account off in interest so far, and it's $1,000 and you already paid 500 of it. Well, instead of you repaying 1,000, they may try and settle with you for 500. So I always work up a settlement. Now the misunderstanding came into place where people don't understand debt and credit are two different things. So for example, if you pay a debt that is charged off from your credit report, that does not fix your credit. So if it's not going to fix my credit, most people are like, well, I'm not going to pay it, you know. And again, nothing may not happen and it just falls off their credit in 7 years. That's why many people have the mindset of, if it's in collection or it's charged off, it's not going to fix my credit. I don't have to pay back that money. I'm not going to worry about it. So that's where the misunderstanding really came into place. Vice versa, if something is removed from your credit report, that just literally has something to do with credit reporting. It has nothing to do with the debt that you owe. It's two different things. So if something's removed from your credit, that doesn't remove the debt from the bank's, you know, database and the system that they keep all your records in. You still owe that bank. Vice versa, if something's removed or you pay this debt, it doesn't remove the charge off history from your credit. So that's why many people get this big misunderstanding of not paying back something that is charged off or in collection status. So that is all for this episode. Like I said, I just wanted to break things down and clear up a huge misunderstanding in the credit repair space, because man, it is pretty rough out there. I get so many calls and people are like, oh, well, I had a $10,000 personal loan and I couldn't pay it back, and I've been told I don't have to pay this back if it's, you know, get charged off or if I start missing payments. And they sued me and they took me to small claims court and they garnished my wages and things like that. And trust me, if you get summoned to court for unpaid debt, the very first thing you need to do is contact the creditor and work out some type of payment plan or a settlement. Because when they take you to court, that's an automatic judgment against your credit, or not your credit, your personal records, because you are not winning against a bank. Just to throw that out there. You signed a legal contract agreeing to repay this debt. You ran your credit for this account. They've got all the proof in their hands that this account belongs to you and you agreed to repay it. So if you think you're going to win a case against a bank or a lender, you're out of your mind. But outside of that, yes, if something is charged off or in collection status, you do legally owe that money. No, it may not fix something on your credit if you do pay it, but at the end of the day, yes, you owe that money. If you use credit to improve your lifestyle and would like to share your story on the It Pays to Have Good Credit podcast, feel free to reach out to us at info@sturgiscreditrepair.com. Sturgis is spelled STIRGUS, creditrepair.com.